So we're going to start off with finding neutral spine in standing. And for that, I'm going to ask Kim to turn sideways away from me, so I can see her side on and you can see what is happening. Okay, I'm going to ask you to soften your knees so the weight goes into your feet, but just stay lengthened, no slouching into the waist for me. And now spread your toes, heavy through the feet, knees soft. I'm just going to ask you to have your arms at the side of your body, middle fingers in line with the seam, heavy arms. I'm going to ask you to exhale or inhale, just breathe and roll forward a little bit into your balls, not far. Spread your toes and just feel that weight that little bit in towards the balls. Come back to your center position. The upper body is staying still. We're not slouching forwards or backwards. Now we're going to take it backwards. Heavy through the feet, knees soft towards the heels, just a little ways, and bring it back to center. I'm going to ask you to repeat that again. Exhaling and inhaling. Just make sure you're breathing. Just finding that position where you can feel the weight slightly shifting between the balls and the heels. And when you're ready, can you come back to your center position? Hands go over the pelvis. The fingertips are on the hip bones and the thumbs are over the back of the pelvis. So we're holding the pelvic girdle. Fingertips on the hip bones, thumbs over the top of the pelvis, and eyes looking forward. Without the upper body moving at all, it stays still, it doesn't slouch forward or lean back. Knees soft, spread your toes, just the pelvis moving. As you exhale or inhale, tilt the pelvis forward so the fingertips go lower than the thumbs. And the weight goes into the balls of the feet just a little bit. Bring it back to your center position. Hold it there, upper body stays still. I'm going to repeat that backwards, exhaling or inhaling. Tilt the pelvis backwards so the thumbs go lower than the fingertips. The weight begins to go into the heels just a little bit. And now keep moving this pelvis forward and backwards until you feel that the pelvis is level. So the fingers and thumbs are roughly level. And your pubic bone and tailbone is pointing downwards. And if you put one hand in front and one behind, you can actually just check that out. Bring your arms back to the side of the body. Knees soft. When you're ready, we need to make sure we've got correct cervical placement. Now we've found neutral spine. Knees soft. Can I ask you to float your head up towards the ceiling, chin just coming in gently onto a shelf. Don't cram it in. So the neck is lengthened and the head is lifted. Arms at the side of the body, middle fingers in line with the seam. And then I'm going to ask you to lengthen your collarbone. For this, we're going to slide the shoulder blades down just a tiny bit and slightly closer together, and feel the lengthening across the front of the collarbone. Lengthening your collarbone is important for rib connection. I'm now going to ask you to keep this position, knees soft, try not to lock them, and I'm going to ask you to think about your feet. I'm going to place a dot under each big toe, one under each little toe, and a last one under the middle of both heels. If you join those dots up, you make a kind of V. Can I ask you, with knees soft, neutral pelvis, pubic bone, tailbone pointing down, that level position of the pelvis, to keep your knees soft and let all the weight spread even through the V of both feet. Not in the balls, not in the heels, spread even, not more in one foot than the other. Can I ask you now to keep that position, not locking your knees? Pubic bone, tailbone pointing down, head floating up, Chin in on the shelf and collarbone lengthened. I'm going to ask you in a moment to exhale gently, and we're going to draw the navel all the way in towards the spine. But I don't want the shoulders to shrug. Keep your collarbone lengthened, middle fingers in line with the seam. Exhale gently and draw that navel in bit by bit, 100%. Hold it. Keep the collarbone lengthened and let 50% go as you breathe in. Let another 20-30% go and hold on to 20-30%, a small grape's worth. You need to be able to talk and breathe. So when you're ready, let it go. That's your corset muscle, the TA, transverse abdominis. It wraps around into back stabilizing muscles and is really important. I'm now going to ask you to place your hands back on your pelvis, just a little bit lower, so your fingertips are on your hip bones. Well, I'm going to place you in imaginary hipster trousers. And in a moment, keeping the collarbone lengthened, we're going to tighten the belt in these hipster trousers until we get to the 10th notch. So that's your 100%, as you did a moment ago with the TA. And then we're going to reduce it notch by notch. So shoulders away from the ears, collarbone lengthened. Neutral spine, pubic bone, tailbone. Soften your knees. When you're ready, exhaling gently, tighten that belt to the 10th notch. Then breathe in, collarbone lengthened. Release notch by notch on the belt till you get to the 3rd or 2nd notch and hold it there. And bring your arms to the side of your body. Palms facing inwards, middle fingers in line with the seam. You have recruited your pelvic floor there. And on recruiting your pelvic floor by tightening that belt, you've also recruited the TA, and you will have felt it. That navel to spine that you did a minute ago will have engaged. So now we have 20-30 and we have centering. When you're ready, knees soft, small capital D, the shoulders just a little bit. We call that a backwards capital D. Middle fingers in line with the seam, heavy, lengthening the collarbone. Neutral spine. We're keeping that 20-30 connection at the 2nd or 3rd notch, and breathe. If the breathing phases you, just breathe, that's fine. Exhale and you will breathe in. Knees soft. When you're ready, lengthening the collarbone, we're just going to use one hand to just close the envelope on the ribs at the front, just below the breastbone. Just below the breastbone, over the rib cage, towards the base of it. Lengthening the tailbone down. It's that small connection that means that our ribs are not flaring and that we are actively engaging the right muscles.